Chris Duel.
Wake up, kids. It is Christmas morning. It is football Christmas. It is the day we have waited for either since the Super Bowl, or if you're a hardcore Cowboys fan and you care more about the Cowboys than the Super Bowl, maybe since the Cowboys were eliminated from the playoffs last year. It is the glorious opening night of the National Football League. And if you're a Cowboys fan, and even if you're not, I don't know if there could have been a better matchup that just brings everything that is America's team and the Cowboys and Dak and Jerry to Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady, for God's sake, and the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. People already diving in and joining us on the live video feed. I see Wes. I see Foam. I see Steve Duraco, The Rock. You can get there through Facebook Live, AM 1300 The Zone, or Ticket 760 through YouTube, through Twitch. Shannon Salty Sweeney, because I'm looking at you on the live video feed, like I am, you are wearing a Dallas Cowboys t-shirt, and you also have a very cool Dallas Cowboys cap this morning. You are in game mode. How are you doing this morning?
I'm still undecided on who I'm rooting for, if we're being honest. This was just a coincidence that I get dressed in the dark, and this is just so happened when I put on a Cowboys hat and shirt. It's part of the issue with waking up. So no, I'm pumped. I've had this outfit planned for weeks. I've been, what shirt am I going to wear? Which hat am I going to wear? This is my favorite Cowboys hat. Why not wear this one? I'm very excited. Last night I was sitting watching TV, and it's 7:00, and I was like, this time tomorrow.
Oh.
I'm not going to have to flip through channels and wonder what I'm going to watch. It's there for me, and it's going to be magical. It's going to be great. I'm going to have pizza. I ordered pizza last night. I was like, I'm going to have leftovers tomorrow. I've got my whole day planned, Chris.
Perfect.
I probably had it planned much longer than I even realized. I'm so excited. It's finally here.
Well, tomorrow's going to be interesting because, I mean, not only us are we going to be exhausted, because as you said yesterday, hopefully the Cowboys give us a reason to stay up late.
Yeah.
Unless they're down like 27-3 going into the fourth quarter, and I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sticking in. I'm in for the long haul tonight. But it's like everybody at work tomorrow, especially across the state of Texas and around the country. So many Cowboys fans, and again, even if you're not, it's Tom Brady and the Buccaneers against America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to be really interested to see the ratings. I think ratings for this game are going to be through the roof. I think it'll probably be the highest rated NFL opener ever. I just got a feeling.
Yeah.
So America is going to stay up late tonight. So whatever your job is, if you're in the military, if you work at HEB, if you work at an insurance company, if you work at a tech company, whatever you do, everybody's going to be dragging, tired, and hopefully euphoric if the Cowboys can somehow get the improbable win tonight.
Yeah, improbable maybe, but exciting nonetheless. And I'm with you. Can we just agree to meet in the meet online virtually after the game and just pre-record the show?
That would that's a great idea, actually.
Right after it happens, immediate reaction. We're still hyped and amped, and then we can go to sleep and stay asleep. If not, the minute the show's over tomorrow, I'm going home and going to sleep.
I can't believe you're coming up with this idea at 6:14. I love the idea. We should have planned it with the engineers and the powers that be. And because one way or another, we will be jacked up on adrenaline and euphoria if the Cowboys win, and if they lose, we'll be angry, bitter, and swearing a lot.
Yeah,
which I guess we'd have to be careful for on radio.
If they win, I'll already be packing my bags to go on that train with Jerry out west.
Woo! That's right. Yeah, we gotta pack up. We gotta put the fire out, and some people aren't gonna make it, and there's gonna be some dead bodies we're gonna have to bury, and there'll be new faces and kids but we're on the way to California. Exactly. Wow. Hey, I wonder what the over-under is on Jerry Jones shots tonight. I guess.
Good question. That's probably a prop bet. That is a
yeah. Absolutely.
Question.
Speaking of prop bets and prophecy, yesterday on the show, we delivered our AFC picks, predictions, prophecy. We will round it out this morning. In fact, in less than an hour, as we move into the 7 o'clock hour, top of the 7 o'clock hour, Shannon, you and I are going to deliver our NFC picks for the season, and we'll go through the NFC playoffs and our Super Bowl picks. And I say this because I so suck at predicting. I just got crazy lucky last year at this time. And I think it was day of the opener. I did my NFL picks. I posted them on Twitter, as we will do today as well. And I had my Super Bowl was Tampa Bay versus Kansas City, with Tampa Bay winning the Super Bowl. And again, I said this yesterday. Now you look at, of course, Tom Brady. That was not a lot of people were not expecting Brady and the Bucs to get past Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints a year ago. And as the way that regular season played out, it looked like even as we went into the playoffs, it might not happen. But I got lucky, and we'll see if I get lucky again. And we'll see if you get lucky as you make your Super Bowl picks as well.
Don't sell yourself short, because you made that call. And if memory serves me right, I think it was maybe before the Super Bowl, Tom Brady, he loves his little videos. He loves to create little videos. And I'm sure, we need to be on Tom Brady watch, because I'm sure he'll send one out the second he wakes up this morning. But he had like a compilation video of all of his highlights from the season, and then all of the negative talk about him and his age and the Bucs going into the season, running over that. So don't sell yourself short.
Well, no, here I
called that.
Thank you very much. But to just show you how lucky I got a year ago and how stupid I can be, 1 year before that, 1 or 2 years before that, I felt it. I wasn't just being stupid or a homer, although I guess I was being stupid and a homer. I have to go back because they're all on Twitter. Either the 2019 season or the 2018 season, I felt it and I picked it. It was going to happen, an all Texas Super Bowl. It was going to be Deshaun Watson leading his Houston Texans along with J.J. Watt against Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl. It was going to be the greatest Super Bowl ever. I would have been able to die a happy man, because one of the things I've always wanted in my life was to witness an all Texas Super Bowl. And I in this segment that we're about to do in about an hour, I said, it's happening. I feel it. I'm picking it. And boy, was I wrong. And now it'll probably never happen, because the Texans are going to be in the dumpster fire that they are probably for the next 15 years.
You're allowed to dream.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I mean, on paper, both name-wise, it looked like a fair assessment.
It looked possible.
But much like people saying Tom Brady didn't have it and he's at the Bucs and they've been historically bad, look what they did. So
true.
Crazy can happen.
Yes. Speaking of Tom Brady, I saw him trending yesterday, so I clicked on it. He released a commercial that was very, very funny.
Did
you see it for the cryptocurrency of some kind? And he's talking to Giselle, and they're talking about, should we do it? And she goes, I'm in. And he goes, all right, I'm in. And they go, all right, let's call all our friends. So Giselle and Tom Brady are on their phones calling all their friends. And it's funny because Brady calls some people in Boston, and one guy picks up the phone and goes, I hate you. And he goes, yeah, but come on. He goes, I still hate you. He goes, yeah, but this is a great thing. Do you want to do it? He goes, okay, I'll do it, but I hate you. And then the guy hangs up, and he says to the people in the bar, he goes, damn, even on the phone, Tom Brady sounds handsome. Something like that. Again, Brady, man, his social media game, and just, obviously, he probably has script approval on commercials that he does. He's not going to do a commercial unless he really likes what it looks like. Tom Brady just keeps putting out, and this was a commercial. Tom Brady just keeps putting out very entertaining stuff. On social media. Yeah,
I was looking for his hype video for the day. It's not up yet, but the first thing you do see is this commercial video, and he's got Trevor Lawrence and Steph Curry tagged in it, as well as the Miami Heat. So him and his gang, and it's got 1.3 million views. It hasn't even been up for 24 hours.
Wow.
And for reference, he has 2 million followers. So that's a pretty great ratio for those that aren't versed in the Twitter world.
And again, I'm not a big. I know very little about cryptocurrency, and I don't remember what the name of the cryptocurrency was that he was. It's a new one, I think. It wasn't like Bitcoin or something that I had heard.
There's another one.
Yeah, there's another one. But I mean, just think about it. I mean, who better? You mentioned the numbers, and you mentioned already in less than 24 hours how the numbers have exploded. If you're behind this cryptocurrency and you had the idea to get Tom Brady involved, brilliant idea. I would imagine Tom Brady probably has a piece of the action and might be making some money off the profits here. But I mean, of all the people you could get right now, Drake, Taylor Swift, your boy Justin Timberlake, or Tom Brady, or maybe LeBron James. I mean, there's probably a small circle that you could probably count on both hands of who you would want to be the front person for your brand new idea product, in this case cryptocurrency, and clearly Tom Brady can make it go through the roof.
Yeah, well, I think my understanding of cryptocurrency is it's almost like stocks, right? Like you kind of have to believe in what you're doing because the value can change in an instant. And when you think of Tom Brady, he's a guy that a lot of people love to quite literally bet on. So I do think he is an appropriate face for something like this.
Yeah, totally
and
agree.
It's the start of the NFL season, so time. I'm sure we will see so many more commercials with him in them beginning tonight, as we typically do. As long as I don't get any Aaron Rodgers State Farm commercials with his dog for my dog to bark at.
They're coming. They're coming.
Gosh, I can't. I listen to The Zone in the afternoons to listen to Mike Taylor, and when I listen on my Google, every time the State Farm commercial plays, that jingle, it sets her off. Like, God, Aaron Rodgers, I will never forgive you for that.
That is hilarious. But
forgive you.
You bring something up that I didn't think about. I mean, there are commercials, television commercials that go through the whole football season that are created for the football season.
Yeah.
So even though it's not going to be as wildly intense and creative as the Super Bowl tonight, as far as commercials go, we are in all probability going to see new commercials. As you mentioned, there'll be some Tom Brady commercials. You'll probably see a new Dak Prescott for Chunky Soup commercial. You will probably see State Farm with Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers commercials. So we'll probably that's another, as fun as tonight is going to be to start the NFL football season and get the Cowboys and get a shot at an incredible win. If the Cowboys could pull it off and shock the world, even during the commercials, we're going to get some entertainment that we probably haven't seen before.
Yeah. And you started the show with saying how many people you expect to tune in. I wouldn't be surprised if they're almost Super Bowl quality for some of these commercials that we'll soon be tired of by season's end. We will be so done.
Absolutely.
So done.
Absolutely. Well, just telling you what's coming up on the show this morning. And obviously we are giddy. It's Christmas morning. You run downstairs if you got a 2-story house. If you don't, you run to the living room, wherever you got the Christmas tree. You look under the tree. You've seen those gifts. We knew this present was waiting for us for months. We knew it was going to be Cowboys versus Buccaneers, but tonight at 7:20, we get to open this gift up and see, is it going to be this euphoric Cowboys victory, or is it going to be what a lot of people expect? I think I saw Skip Bayless said Buccaneers 35, Cowboys 10. I think that's pretty much what a lot of people expect to happen. But yeah, as I mentioned, Shannon, the Cowboys, they're not chopped liver. They're pretty they're a stellar offense, and they're a much improved defense.
Yeah, I know last year they struggled to find the end zone, but that was without Dak. Dak is back.
Dak is back.
Dak is back.
That's the fact. Dak. Yes. So I mean, it could happen. It's not like it's impossible. It could. And again, Brady is, let's see, what, February? Brady's 6, 7, 8 months older. and he ain't getting any younger. I'm just one of these days, Brady's going to chunk the ball down the field, and it's not going to go exactly where he wants it to go.
Right.
And that could be tonight. I want Micah Parsons to get a sack or a pick.
I want that so badly.
Yes. He was talking about it on Hard Knocks, how he's telling all of his friends back home. They're all of his friends back home are saying, you got to get to Tom Brady. You got to get to Tom Brady. So, yes, to me, win or lose, if it will be a happy moment in the football game for me if rookie phenom Micah Parsons, either a sack on Brady or an interception. Ideally both, but I'll take either.
Yeah, or like a strip sack.
Woo! Oh, gosh, that's even better. Yes, strip sack and take it to the house.
Yeah, I can picture it right now.
Oh, my God. All right, we got a lot to talk about. You can join us throughout the morning. You are welcome to join us. You are invited to join us. 800-707-9760. Lots of people joining us on the live video feed. We'll say hello to you coming up as well during the break. See what you guys are saying on the live video feed. 7 o'clock, just about a half an hour away. Shannon and I will make our bold predictions for the NFC and the NFL and the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Also in the 7 o'clock hour, Shannon's Salty Shakedown, this day in sports history, sports birthdays. 8 o'clock hour, our good friend James Allen, board member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And then we got to talk to Andy Everett, the voice of UTSA athletics, on a couple of fronts. Number one, can the undefeated UTSA Roadrunners make it 2-0 this weekend against Lamar? Thank you, Coach. And I want to get Andy's take on this come and take it controversy. Shannon and I were all over that yesterday. We'll probably talk about it again. It's become a big deal at UTSA as they want people to stop flying the come and take it flags that have become a tradition at UTSA. It is all coming your way. Thanks for hanging out with us. As we roll forward, we will meet Mr. Dave Ayler, our soundscape stylist. We'll see what his plans are for tonight's football game. Will he be all tired tomorrow morning? He better be. I got a feeling he will be. Quick break. High five play of the day is coming up. That and a whole lot more. She's Shannon Salty Sweeney. I'm Chris. It's the Chris Duel Show. Good morning, everybody on Facebook. Beth Settle, good morning. Oh, that's loud. That's so loud. Foamfoot 420, Wes Perkins. Steve Duraco, the original Rock. Anthony Del Toro. Beth Settle. Ralph Balderas. Robert Almaraz. Almaraz, easy for me to pronounce. Sorry, Robert, still early. Haven't had my coffee yet. The mouth isn't working yet. James Wright. Hector Gomez, Sam Tobias, Luisa Alanis, Jason Garcia, Clint Proctor. Wow, a lot of you in here early this morning. Good to see you. David, who got booted off of Facebook for a while. David Castanuela, Leo Zambrano, Jorge Villarreal, welcome in. John Williams from Dallas. Okay, I got to do a few things here. Okay, I sent that audio. Oh, I got to watch something. Let's take a look at this. I just got on YouTube and I see a State Farm commercial. I think they're getting ready for tonight. Thank you very much.
There's Super Bowl prices, then there's looks like there'd be a lot of cryptocurrency spots.
Oh, wow.
So
that is wild. Okay, thank you. That ties right into what we were talking about. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Jorge says UTSA is a bunch of wimps. All right. Let's see. I need. Where'd that site go? There. Oh.
We're back. It's the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Join in by dialing 1-800-707-9760.
Dive in here and talk football. Cowboys, Buccaneers, the opening of the NFL season tonight. Little Rolling Stones, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Last week, we talked about the passing of Rolling Stones drummer Charlie Watts. We're still saddened by that, but their music still rocks and will always rock. And hopefully it'll be Tom Brady saying, I can't get no satisfaction tonight in the big football game. Yeah, here's your little ring. Here's your little championship and your little banner. Hopefully the Dallas Cowboys come and spoil the parade. Speaking of which, Shannon Salty Sweeney, our poll question for this morning is a relatively simple one, and I think it'll be interesting to see the results.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we haven't seen the future of what those results hold, because right now in our question, who wins tonight's NFL opener, 52% are voting for the Buccaneers.
Hey, I thought it was going to be, like 70-30. So
here's my theory.
Okay.
It's still, they're in Eastern time.
Yeah.
We're in Central time.
Mm-hmm.
So that we just, they're more awake over there. We haven't had our people wake up. They're still waking up. They're not ready to vote yet.
And I go back to when I was watching the final preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Michael Irvin was in the booth, the playmaker, Michael Irvin. And near the end of the game, he said, hey, this is not impossible. He said, this Cowboys team has the ability to go into Tampa Bay on opening night and get a victory. And he said, and just for a moment, think about what that would mean and think about what that would feel like if the Cowboys pulled that off. I mean, if it happens tonight, and I know a lot of people don't think it's possible, but it is certainly possible. If the Cowboys get the win tonight, Shannon, it's like expectations are suddenly going to go through the roof. And we can say that literally overnight, this Cowboys team will have arrived and asserted itself as a contender in the NFC. And, you look at a game against Tampa Bay that most people look at the Cowboys schedule. They say, okay, 17-game schedule now. That's a loss. All right, now you need to go. It's like I have them at 10-7. It's like, all right, now you need to go 10-6 the rest of the way to finish 10-7. And probably with that, you can win the NFC East. You win a game that you weren't supposed to win, that even goes a long way toward winning the NFC East, because that means your competitors in the NFC East, they need to win a game they weren't supposed to win somewhere down the line.
Listen, if the Cowboys win tonight, I will feel like an Aggie watching another SEC win the national championship. I mean, I will feel so euphoric. I will claim it as mine. I will claim Super Bowl victory already. And I very much agree. And perception is a lot. You talk about those other teams. I mean, the optics of, okay, this team beat the Super Bowl winning champs. How do we have to now adjust our game to them? And that could be great for two or could go either way, right? They could make the adjustments appropriately. And then, ultimately get that win over the Cowboys, or they fear the Cowboys in some way, and then that plays into the hands of the boys in the future. So, it all starts tonight. What is it, 7 o'clock? I don't want to.
7:20, I think, is the kickoff.
Yeah, because I'm not super into all the pregame stuff. It just
I love all that. If they started pregame at 4 o'clock today, I would tune in.
I watch it on the weekends, but on the weekdays, I'm like, it feels like it takes too long. I'm like,
especially
I'm just ready for the
NBC.
game. Just play the game.
Nationally televised.
Do the game.
NBC.
Is this where we're gonna get Maria Taylor and Drew Brees? Is that tonight?
I think we do. I think they're going to be on the panel tonight.
Okay. I may
Football Night in America.
Let's see what they're doing with that.
That should be fun. So, and is it going to be? I don't even know for sure. Maybe you do. Is it going to be Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth? Who's on the call tonight? I got to go look that up. I think it is.
Yeah.
I got an email from the NFL with all that information a day or two ago. I'll look for that during the break, but I think it is. And Chris Collinsworth, who gets a lot of that Joe Buck hatred for some reason. I kind of like Chris Collinsworth.
Because he's the slide. I love the slide.
What does that mean?
He slides in every game in his chair. Al Michaels brings it in, and then he slides.
See, I didn't get what you meant by slide.
Montages of sliding in.
Yes.
And people who hate him, that's what they point at. They're like, I just can't stand the slide.
If he wants to slide, let him slide.
It's his thing. He has a thing. Yeah. Be happy for him.
Yeah, Johnny Carson on his monologue, at the end of his monologue, used to do a fake golf shot. He would act like he was winging a golf club. So if he wants to slide, let him slide. Sam Tobias on Facebook Live says it is Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth tonight. So take that. That's, of course, one of our listeners, viewers. But
they're not doing any performances or anything like before or national anthem or
I think there's
halftime thing.
That's a great question. There should
Sometimes
be something
they throw those
big.
in there.
There should be something big tonight. They used to have like Bon Jovi, and they used to make opening night a big thing and have some big acts doing music.
They should have something. Maybe they should give the weekend another chance.
Yes.
The Super Bowl performance was a little lackluster.
Yes. Well, Shannon, speaking of music is the subject of the high five play of the day. In fact, we got a little music for high five.
You are a professional.
Woo! Yeah, don't tell anybody. Got a little high five happy music. High five play of the day is appropriately sponsored by High Five. 2 locations in Austin. They got everything going on that you want, especially on a game night like this. Big screen TVs everywhere. You can watch the game tonight. Great food, great drinks, food specials, drink specials, great games, bowling, laser tag, axe throwing. Shannon Salty Sweeney frequents both Austin locations, so you might even see her. You never know. Look around, have fun, high five, get in there. Shannon, the high five play of the day goes to a great organization that, think about music for a moment and think about how important music is in our lives and realize that Austin is the music capital, certainly of Texas, and I would argue, other than maybe Nashville and Memphis, perhaps of the South and certainly the Southwest. Well, there is a great organization called the Health Alliance for Austin area musicians. Think about musicians who pour themselves into music and pour themselves into their craft. And, the last couple of years with the pandemic, it's been tough on all of us, but it's also been especially tough on musicians. And like the rest of us, they need health care as well. And this is one of the big things that the Health Alliance for Austin Area Musicians does. Now, the acronym for Health Alliance for Austin Area Musicians is HAM, and HAM Day is September 14th. And here's what's cool, Shannon, at AM 1300 The Zone in Austin, and I also encourage San Antonio people to get involved, and wherever you're listening across Texas or around the world, we're trying to raise $10,000 for this great cause for Austin area musicians. And the great folks at Brown Distributing in Austin said, hey, if you raise $10,000, we'll match it. And so that $10,000 can become $20,000. Shannon, you go to great Austin venues, as so many people do, and enjoy music, for an opportunity here to jump in and donate and help. And I want people to know you go to am1300thezone.com/ham, HAAM, and you can donate. But Shannon, this is a very worthy cause. We love the music that musicians provide for us, especially in Austin. This is an opportunity for us to give back to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so many musicians. It's not just, people playing at these just concert venues. I mean, so many musicians. And one of the things I love about Austin is that you can go to a restaurant and there's people playing, whether it be in a corner or on a little mini stage or a backyard stage. It just adds to the atmosphere that is Austin. And thankfully, with the weather being pretty nice, and especially in the evenings now, with it not being so hot, the sun setting a little sooner. I've frequented a local neighborhood restaurant a couple times, and on those nights, there's been a live band there, and it's awesome, and it's just it creates an experience unlike anything else, and they're happy to be back out because they've been without for so long thanks to the pandemic. And you can donate to them directly. I know a lot of people still, they're like, oh, I don't carry cash anymore. They have Venmo now. You can do all sorts of things to help them out when you see them in person. But get over to AM 1300 The Zone. It's also available on Facebook. If you go to the Zone's page on Facebook, it is pinned right at the top. So very easy to find. Go ahead and click that link and donate to the HAM organization and that wonderful cause.
And again, just any kind of a donation, $5, whatever you got, $10, $100 would be amazing. But if it's $5, do it, please. And I'm seeing on the live video feed, Shannon, a musician, Neil Cole, just wrote, thank you. We as musicians need all the help we can get. So, I mean, there's a musician who knows firsthand. And I just think, I mean, music is such a part of our lives. Yeah. And who
we
among
take it
us?
For granted.
Yeah. Yeah. And so to be musicians and to work on that craft takes such a commitment. And often, you have to pursue that dream at the detriment of things like your health care. And they do it. They create their art. They create wonderful music. And sometimes they need a little help. So one more time, go to am1300thezone.com/ham, HAAM, to donate, and or, as Shannon just mentioned, go to AM 1300 The Zone's Facebook page. It's pinned at the top. It is a great cause, and your money is doubled thanks to the wonderful people at Brown Distributing in Austin, and they are wonderful. At Brown, I mean, all the great beverages you get at all the great venues and around town comes pretty much from Brown Distributing, and they do great things in the community like this. So thank you to Brown Distributing, and a big high five, not only to the Health Alliance for Austin Area Musicians, but a preemptive, an advance high five to all of you who either have donated or will donate. So please jump in there, donate. They can use the help. We can use the help. And even if you're outside Austin, San Antonio, people jump in, donate as well. San Antonio, San Marcos, wherever you may be across Texas or across the country, help us out on this great cause. And we need to raise that $10,000 by September 14th. And this is the 9th. So that's only 5 days. Let's do this thing.
Man, we're almost halfway through September.
Is that, yeah, wow.
God,
we're in double digits tomorrow.
We just got here.
Yes.
This is the thing about football season, is that it's that we wait so long. It feels like the longest wait ever. And then it gets here and it goes by so quickly.
It's true.
Like I was thinking, I was trying to like plan out my next few weeks before I go. Like I'm going on vacation, and then what I'm doing then, and then what happens when I get back. And the second Texas OU weekend gets here, it feels like it's over in a blink of an eye. And that weekend's gonna get here sooner. Like I'm gonna go on vacation, I'm gonna come back, and then bam, it's there. Like it's craziness. We've only played one game, and I'm already like, it's over. It's over.
Well, no, but you bring up a good point. Savor this tonight, because I was talking to you about this, Shannon. What happened to June, July, and August? That was the fastest summer of my life. I blinked. It was like June 1st, and I blinked, and it was September 9th.
I didn't even get a good tan.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the same thing with football season. It is fleeting. When it's over, you long for it, you hunger for it, you miss it, and it's all ahead of us beginning tonight. Cowboys, Buccaneers. So enjoy it. Now, let me ask you this, Shannon. If vast majority of experts believe that the Cowboys are going to lose this game tonight, if they lose the game tonight, is there anything that would you would walk away going, okay, they lost, but I feel good about the Cowboys, or I feel better about the Cowboys than I did before kickoff? What would you need to see in a loss that would make you feel good and optimistic for the rest of this football season?
Well, first, being smart. I don't want to lose in the penalty game, right? I mean, that in itself can be a killer. Special teams, specifically with, field goals. I don't miss shots you should be making. And then play calling. I wasn't really impressed with Mike McCarthy's play calling on either side of the ball last season. So I'd like to see some creativity. I take chances when those you have better, don't, if you're on the 40, maybe kick a field goal if you believe in your field goal unit, because take the points. But I don't know, just some of the play calling, something that'll give me, okay, it's all right. I'd rather be beaten than have us beat ourselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Because I feel like the Cowboys last year did a lot of beating themselves.
Yeah, I would just love to see them. First of all, I want the win, and I'm going to dream about the win and hope for the win, and I would love to be
speak it into existence.
Exactly. Boom. I believe in that stuff. But if they could just hang with them, if they lose, but they hung in there. If we go into the fourth quarter and it's like 24-20 or 24-17, if we got a shot going into that fourth quarter and hung with them. I mean, Brady's Brady. He's probably going to tear your heart out at some point. But I'm just hoping the Cowboys hang, and no injuries, for the love of God. We found out last night that Zach Martin, some people were hoping he'd still find a way to play, but COVID is going to keep him out. He hopes to be back next week against the LA Chargers. We will talk a whole lot more football in the next segment. It is prophecy time. Shannon, Salty, Sweeney, and I will put on our wizard hats, and we will look into the future, and we will tell you who is going to win what division in the NFC, who is going to the playoffs, who's going to the Super Bowl, and who's going to win the Super Bowl. I nailed it a year ago. Can I do it again? Can Shannon do it this year? We're about to find out. We'll see you in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. Chris Duel Show. Woo! All right. I need... All right. Louisa, Dave is here. I just haven't gone to Dave yet. Thank you for the thank you for the reminder. Jay Signs was my cameraman, producer, editor, all around brilliant dude on SciTech Now on KLRN. Jay Signs, two things. Number one, my calendar says you've got a birthday coming up in September. So happy birthday early. In fact, let me find out when that is. Number two, what is the J? The 24th. Jay Signs' birthday, September 24th. Number two, Jay Signs is also a drone pilot. Jay, did you see the drone shot on Hard Knocks, the Cowboys facility? And if you didn't see it, I got to get it to you. And I forget which episode. Was it episode 3 or episode 2? But anyway, it's like the greatest drone shot I've ever seen. And you I thought of you being a drone pilot, that you would love it. So let me know. HBO or HBO Max, which is what I have. Hard Knocks, Dallas Cowboys. It was the opening shot. I'll have to. Okay, yeah. I will get you a link, Jay. I mean, they go like over it's this big football facility with football fields and buildings, and the drone starts high in the sky, comes down toward the facility, over the practice field, and then it goes into the building and all around the building, and it just misses people, and it shows you the whole building. Then it comes out of the building and goes back over. It's like a 3-minute drone shot that is mind-blowing. I said on the show the morning after I saw it, I said, in motion pictures, in television, any drone footage I've ever seen, that was the most amazing drone shot / sequence I've ever seen. It was mind-blowing. And you don't have to be a football fan or a Cowboys fan to appreciate it. But you, sir, as a drone pilot, would absolutely love it. Okay. Oh, do you have that music bed ready for football? Okay.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Oh, thanks so much.
Got about 20 minutes worth of music.
Yeah, and somebody mentioned, Luisa Alanis mentioned, is there no Dave today? Apparently I went the whole hour without saying hello to you on the air. I'm a total jerk. What is wrong with me? So I will do that when we get back. Now, how many of these did I need? Three. Okay. Now I get it. Here we go. Thank you, Jay Signs. Now, hopefully, I will remember your birthday on your birthday, which is never guaranteed. Jared, when was the last time I went bowling? My God, it's been over a decade, maybe 2 decades. I'm not a great bowler, but it's fun.
Now, Chris Duel.
Glory, glory, hallelujah, and praise be to the football gods on high. Like Thomas Wade Landry, who is right over my shoulder on the live video feed, looking down upon us from football heaven, showering football blessings upon us all on this football Christmas morning, as tonight we begin to open up our presents, and we're going to open up a big one to start off the NFL season tonight. The Dallas Cowboys, America's team, in Tampa to take on the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by the GOAT, the pretty boy, Mr. Tom Brady. It's going to be beautiful. Chris Duel Show with Shannon, Salty, Sweeney. And Shannon, you and I are moments away from football prophecy, where at the end of this football season, we'll look back, because we're on the record. We're going to put our picks on Twitter, on social media, so you can go back and either praise us or mock us throughout and at the end of this football season. And hopefully, Shannon, one of us will be able to be cocky and giddy and say, "I told you so," at the end of this football season.
I'm going over my math now to make sure that my games are I had that one faux pas yesterday. Too many games so I'm just going over my math.
Yeah, and I'm the same way too, because I wrote it down first, and as I told you, I came up with my picks. Let's see, that was on Wednesday while drinking excessive quantities of beer at a pool, but I wrote them down. And then, then I saw what you did. Then you have them all typed up and official. So I said, all right, I got to do that. I got to make mine pretty and typed up. And so
my handwriting is not legible. So that's
nor is mine.
I tend to type.
But it's so easy when you type something from another copy. I mean, there can be a typo. There can be so I double checked it last night, but I think I got it right. Before we do any prophecy, Shannon, Luisa Alanis on the live video feed said, "Is there no Dave today? Is it just you two? Is there no Dave Taylor?"
There I am.
There he
is. After an hour and 10 minutes, roughly. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. And Chris, I'm going to say this in front of you and Shannon and our millions of listeners today, that I remember your predictions of last year of Tampa Bay going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And I doubted you. I go, what is Duel smoking? I go, and how can I get some of it? And I'll say this right in front of everybody. You were right, and I was wrong.
Thank you, sir.
I respect your picks, and I'll never doubt you again.
Well, I there's your big mistake. Is you should doubt me over I got lucky just once, but that pick now, you go, oh, Tampa Bay over Kansas City. Sure, it sounds plausible or correct now because it was correct, but a year ago, nobody, Brady, his first year at Tampa with that crappy team that is like a perennial joke. There's no.
And if you remember, that team didn't start playing well until about game 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Brady and Arians were going at each other. Like, there's drama there. They're never going to win anything. Then they got that. They put it together and pulled it out.
They were floundering early. I remember the Saints
and made Chris Duel legit.
Thank you, Dave. I'll probably never have those accolades and props again. So I'm basking in the glory of them. And probably when you see the Super Bowl pick I have this morning, you'll probably say, all right, he's back to being an idiot. And again, I just to balance the very kind words by Dave, I did pick either 1 or 2 seasons ago. I did pick an old Texas Super Bowl, and boy was I wrong. So
that's a good dream to have.
Yeah, I'm not picking it this year and anytime soon. So Dave, your plans I know you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but even you, sir, the sizzle of this matchup, America's team, the Cowboys, a team you love to hate, going up against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Are you excited? What are your plans for tonight's game?
I'm excited. I'll be watching out. I probably won't make it through the whole game. But you know how we are
all night
now.
And
I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people are saying.
Ooh,
I still have the Bucs winning 28-21.
Ooh,
but I think as long as I think McCarthy's thinking, just nobody get hurt and don't make it a blowout.
Yeah,
don't make us look like a fool.
Man, if it's 28-21 Bucs, of course I want the Cowboys to win, but I would probably see a lot of positives if it were 20.
Yeah, if it's 42-0, the Cowboys got serious problems. But if they keep it close, even if they don't win, you got to take that as a win.
Yeah, and I mentioned Skip Bayless said 35-10.
I think it'll be closer than that.
I hope so. God, I hope so. All right, Shannon, any final words before you and I embark upon prophecy here and go on the record for the rest of this football season?
No, sir.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Dave Ayler, how about some NFL pickin' music? Yes. Woo! Shannon, like yesterday, you may begin, start where you will start, and I will follow your lead division by division. By the way, we did the AFC yesterday, and you should have been tuning in for that. You can always check the podcast and go get it, and we'll remind you of at least who is coming out of the AFC. But this is the NFC, which will round out our predictions.
All right, I'm starting in the NFC North. The Bears.
The Bears.
6-11. I think they let Andy Dalton lose a couple of games for them before they put in the future in Justin Fields. But at that point, it will be too late, and they will go 6-11. The Lions are still the Lions. They just have a new quarterback in Jared Goff, who I don't think is he's no Matt Stafford. So 4-13 for the Lions. Congratulations, you do get a couple wins on the season. Winning the NFC North, the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. He gets to say, look what I do for you. This is why you respect me, and you respect what I have to say and take in what I have to say with deep thought and consideration, because they go 10-7 to win the division. And the Vikings and Kirk Cousins 6-11 because it's Kirk Cousins and I just can't deal.
Wow. A lot of people picking the Vikings higher than that. I'm not a lot higher than that. Like you, Shannon, I have the Green Bay Packers winning the division, but I think Aaron Rodgers and that football team, as dysfunctional as it was in the offseason, I think they're going to put it together. I've got Green Bay at 13-4 winning that division. And preview that 13-4 will be the best record in the NFC. Tampa is going to tie it, but we'll talk about the tiebreaker coming up. Second, Minnesota, like you, I've got them sub 500. You've got them worse than I do. 8-9. I think this is a team in disarray. Kirk Cousins and so many of the Vikings, they're the most unvaccinated team in the NFL. I think that's going to be a play out in some problems for them COVID-wise, but I think also dissension. Mike Zimmer not happy with that team. I don't think they're going anywhere. Chicago, I got them a little better than you do. I've got them at 7-10. I think that's about right. And I've got the Detroit Lions led by Jared Goff, one game better, I think, than you do. I've got the Lions at 5-12. So the only team coming out of that division for the playoffs for me, Green Bay at 13-4.
All righty. Moving down south now in the NFC, I've got the Falcons at 7-10. I think this is where Matty Ice eventually says goodbye to his NFL career. Panthers 5-2. Matt Rule, I'm sorry. Sam Darnold to me still isn't the guy. I don't care if you put him on whatever team. I don't think he's the right guy to lead an NFL franchise. The Saints, I think, will flounder without Drew Brees. 6-11. That doesn't mean that Jameis Winston's going to have another 30 for 30. I just think, based on their schedule,
it's a huge fall off
and
for
what
the
they're doing right now with some of their players being out, I just don't see it. So 6-11 for the Saints. And we move on to the Cowboys' opponent for tonight, the Buccaneers, the returning Super Bowl champs with a 14-3 record. Chris,
wow.
I have to give them their props.
Wow.
They are the returning champions, so I've got to give them their dues. And so I think they'll go 14-3 this year, led by Tom Brady, assuming everyone stays healthy.
Wow, 14-3 for the Bucs. I thought I gave them a big time record, Shannon. I'm close to what you had. I've got them at 13-4, so I've got them performing one game below where you have them. New Orleans, I agree with you. There's going to be a drop off losing Drew Brees. They've had some other problems with offensive players in the offseason. I think they'll flounder around 500. I got them at 9-8. One game better than 500. Atlanta, I've been listening. Colin Cowherd is very high on Atlanta. He thinks they're flying under the radar. They're going to be better than people think. I've got them at 7-10. Not much. I think that's exactly what you had them at. And I've got Carolina exactly where you had them at 5-12. So one team coming out of that division, the team, Super Bowl champs, bringing everybody back. Tampa Bay 13-4.
Yeah, listen, I think Kyle Pitts will make an impact for that Falcons team, but he's not an impact that'll get you to the playoffs. Not with Matty Ice and the rest of that brigade still involved there in Atlanta. All right, moving on to the NFC East.
Whoa!
And starting with the team we know and love best, the Dallas Cowboys. I've got them at 13-4, which does have them winning the division and getting into the playoffs.
13-4?
Yeah, I know it.
My God.
I have them going 5-1 in the division, so 3 of those losses are outside of the division.
Okay, I was drinking when I made my picks. Will you admit on radio you were drinking when you chose the Cowboys to go 13-4?
I was clear and sober, and I believe that if this offense is what it was last year before Dak got hurt, they should have no problem scoring. And if their defense is just a sliver better than what they were last year, they should have no problem winning games.
13-4.
13-4. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. I hope you're right. What else you got? What about Washington?
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was like,
see, we got so excited. Yeah,
all right.
To hell with the rest of the division. Yeah.
The Giants 5-12. Again, they just kind of seem a mess. Saquon Barkley is still very questionable, and he is the star of the team. When the star, as we know, when the star of the team is not available, bad things happen. The Eagles also a bit of a mess. I'm not sure what they're going to end up doing with quarterback throughout the season. 7-10. And Washington. Look, they've got a pretty great defense, so I give them the edge with that. So I'm going to have them go 9-8. That does also get them out and into the playoffs.
Very nice. All right. I am not as high on the Cowboys as you are. I hope you're right and I'm wrong. I think it's going to be a dogfight throughout the season with the Washington football team. I've got Dallas and Washington finishing at 10-7. Atop that division, I've got the Cowboys winning the tiebreaker and therefore taking the NFC East barely over Washington. Giants right around 500. I've got them at 8-9. And Philadelphia, kind of a dumpster fire all season long. I've got them at 4-13. But Cowboys and the Washington Commanders will go to the playoffs.
That's your vote now?
No, I don't. I want them to be the Washington Americans, but nobody likes that idea.
All right, going to our final division, the NFC West. I've got the new look Cardinals with their J.J. Watts and their Hopkins and their Kyler Murrays and their hottest coach in the NFL and Cliff Kingsbury going 7-10 because I don't think it's enough. I think they're still the Cardinals. I don't know how much longer Cliff Kingsbury has. I hope his house is a rental and that he didn't put down too much of a big down payment on that home because I don't know how much longer he'll last after a 7-10 record that will keep them out of the playoffs. And I don't have them doing very well in the division at 2-4. I do have the Rams with their brand new quarterback in Matthew Stafford going 9-8. That does get them into the playoffs. But I don't know their schedule. I'm not a fan of the schedule. So I've got them going 9-8. 49ers, 8-9. I think they'll surprise us a little bit, right? They suffered a lot with injuries last year. They've got guys that are healthy. I think they're going to be able to pull out some wins that we might not expect. And then winning the division, I've got the Seahawks at 13-4.
Woo!
Which was a surprise to me, but again, I like their schedule.
Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, making it happen in that division. This is a tough division, and it's a tough division to call. I differ with you somewhat. I've got the Rams winning that division at 12-5. I think the Rams just have a lot of pieces, and I think Matthew Stafford upgrades them at the quarterback position. And I think Matthew Stafford's going to be just thrilled to have a great supporting cast that he can lead to the playoffs. So I think the Rams are going to be tough all year long. I think they're the best team in that division. 12-5 for the Rams. Seattle, who you picked to win that division, I've got them in second in that division at 10-7. Third place in that division, the 49ers at 9-8, just a game above 500, but it ekes them into the playoffs. So 2 teams will get wild cards out of that division, in my view, Seattle and San Francisco, while the Rams win that division. And both you and I are not high on the Arizona Cardinals this year. I've got them at 6-11, a game worse than you do. So Cliff Kingsbury, who once was the backup quarterback to Tom Brady at New England, and took his table scraps as far as women were concerned in the area, could be a tough offseason after this year on Cliff Kingsbury. But those are my NFC West predictions.
All right, moving on to the wild card round.
Woo!
I've got a rivalry game between the Cowboys and the 49ers, but I think the Cowboys are able to eke it out and win that one. Seahawks over Washington. I think Russell Westbrook can handle that Washington defense. And then I've got the Rams over the Packers. Matthew Stafford finally gets revenge over Aaron Rodgers after being with the Lions and just being beat down repeatedly by the Packers. He gets his revenge with a new team in an NFC wild card playoff round and gets a win over the Packers to send them home to Green Bay early.
That would be a great storyline. Matthew Stafford getting a shot to beat the Packers, only with a better football team. All right, my wild card round, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 13-4, but they don't get the one bye. Now each conference has a bye. Green Bay gets the bye, in my view, at 13-4. So Tampa Bay has to play in the wild card round. They take on the San Francisco 49ers and annihilate them. In fact, hopefully it's Brady versus Garoppolo. Take that, Jimmy G. Tom Brady doesn't like you anymore. Buccaneers advance to the next round. The Rams in the wild card round take on the Washington football team. I think the Rams would win that game easily. And of course, for all of us, the marquee wild card round game would be the Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks. I've got the Cowboys, and let's see, let me look at, that would be at AT&T Stadium because the Cowboys would win the NFC East and the Seahawks would be a wild card team. So at home, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Seattle Seahawks. Cowboys win a playoff game. It's a rare event. Enjoy it, everybody. And the Cowboys advance to the divisional round of the playoffs.
Well, that's interesting you said, because in the divisional round, I have the Cowboys over the Seahawks. I think they should have won that game from a year ago. They ended up losing that one 38-31. I felt like there was a lot of secondary issues that ultimately lost us the game, and the reason why the Seahawks were able to get over top of us. So I'm going to say the Cowboys get their revenge over the Seahawks in the divisional round. Then we have the Buccaneers. They got that bye week, so they're fresh. So they're gonna take over the Rams. Matthew Stafford, you had a good run. You got that victory over Aaron Rodgers, but it doesn't last long because Tom Brady is still in the game, and he is going to take you down a peg and get you out of the playoffs.
All right, my divisional round, Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field hosting the Dallas Cowboys, where Dez once caught the ball that was disallowed. Sadly, Aaron Rodgers owns the Dallas Cowboys in the regular season and certainly in the postseason. Cowboys dreams. I will hate it. I'll be mad. I'll be swearing at the TV. I'll be forced to drink heavily. But the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round will defeat the Dallas Cowboys and advance to the NFC Championship game. Meanwhile, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing at home against the Rams. Tom Brady is usually money in the playoffs. Brady versus Matthew Stafford. Are you kidding me? It's got to be Brady. Tampa Bay advances to the NFC Championship game. They beat the Rams, and that would set up a Green Bay versus Tampa Bay NFC Championship game.
All right, I've got the Buccaneers over the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. Listen, I have plenty of faith in tonight. I believe the Cowboys can pull this off. I believe they will win, but I do not believe
it's a preview.
I do not believe that Brady will let it happen twice. And therefore he will get the win over the Cowboys come NFC Championship time.
See, I love that tonight we are watching a preview of the NFC Championship game, and we don't even know it, but you know it.
Well, I know
but the rest of us don't even know it.
I know it.
Wow.
And if the Cowboys lose, you can take this prediction and flip it, because I think this year will split 1-1.
Yeah, Brady will be all cocky going into the NFC Championship game, and then the Cowboys will punk them. All right. Very, very cool. So, all right, my NFC Championship game, that is at Green Bay again. Brady in the cold with Tampa, going to Lambeau a second time. This time, they're not going to try to kick a field goal. This time, Aaron Rodgers finally gets his revenge. And I don't like it because I would be pulling for Brady in this one. I like him better than Aaron Rodgers. But the Green Bay Packers advance to the Super Bowl. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And as we learned yesterday from our AFC predictions, of course, waiting for the NFC representative, in my view, would be the Kansas City Chiefs. You disagree. So who do you have headed to that Super Bowl, and what is your Super Bowl pick?
So I've got the Bills and the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. And maybe a little bit of this is my fandom, as I did get a Mitch Morse jersey yesterday.
Whoa!
For myself and my family members.
Good for
you.
I
will be sporting it throughout the season. And so maybe it's that for that reason alone. And if so, that's fine with me. That I have Brady losing to the Bills, a team that he is so used to beating down on year after year after year. And he leaves the division, which means he left it wide open for the Bills to shine through, and they will get their revenge after all those years of Brady beating down on them. They will beat him in the Super Bowl to be your Super Bowl champs of this season.
And the other storyline there, Shannon, would be the Bills with those, 4 consecutive Super Bowl losses in the Marv Levy, Jim Kelly era.
We're changing the narrative.
Yeah, that fan base would just go nuts.
So many broken tables.
Yes.
So many broken tables.
Yes. My Super Bowl matchup is Kansas City versus Green Bay, which interestingly was the matchup in Super Bowl I.
The State Farm Super Bowl.
At the LA, you're right, the State Farm Super Bowl. Can't pick. I can't pick against Mahomes unless I got a good reason to. But you're right. A State Farm Super Bowl. We're going to want to puke with all the State Farm commercials. They'll even shoot a couple of special ones.
I won't be able to watch the game. Yeah, my dog will just be going off.
Kansas City Chiefs beat the Green Bay Packers in my Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs win 2 of the 3. They've gone to 3 Super Bowls in a row. They win 2 of them. Meatloaf sings 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Patrick Mahomes once again, along with Andy Reid, hold up the Vince Lombardi trophy. There it is.
I like it.
You got Bills over the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
I got Chiefs over the Packers. And I like that neither of us overlap. We both have 2 different matchups in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're both different kind of crazy, if you ask me.
But the news you broke there, you bought a Mitch Morse jersey yesterday.
Well, a jersey, because the jerseys, that's a really large investment of like $145, and the jersey was like $35.
So where'd you go to NFL.com? Where'd you buy that?
Fanatics.
Fanatics.
Has the official NFL gear. I got the red version with the blue number and the buffalo on front. His name and jersey numbers on the back of the jersey.
What made you go for the red version?
I don't have a lot of red shirts in my shirt drawers, so I went with that. I got a lot of blue, right? Because Cowboys.
Yes.
I think I look good in blue. My eyes are blue. It makes it pop. Whatever. So I just went with red.
Beware the blue jersey jinx.
Something
though.
different. Yeah.
That's tonight. We got the Sports Illustrated jinx. Dak's on the cover. We got the blue jersey jinx. And you got the Tom Brady jinx. Nobody beats Brady. So it's all that. Outstanding work, Shannon. We will post these for eternity, and we will stand behind our picks. We will either be proud or humiliated and mocked for these picks, ultimately, as the season progresses.
Fantastic.
Great work.
I'm okay with it.
Woo.
I'll accept it.
Coming up, Shannon's Salty Shakedown is moments away. We'll also talk about this day in sports history, sports birthdays, and a whole lot more. Top of the next hour, James Allen. Love talking football with James from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Andy Everett, just after 8:30, not only previewing UTSA versus Lamar, but is Andy going to come and take it from us? We're going to fly the flags, Andy. We'll see how he feels about the UTSA controversy that is blowing up. Lots coming at you. Till 9, it's the Chris Duel Show. John Williams, the All-Texas Super Bowl, just went away. It's gone. Okay. I have to record some spots here, just letting you know. Thanks, sir. All right. I have to record some spots, so I'm going to mercifully mute this and see if I can get through this. I've got 3 of them with a ton of copy that is much more than 60 seconds. And I got to bring these in at 60 seconds. All right. The Eagles are better than the Cowboys, says Greg. Come on, Greg. I don't think this year, man. I appreciate your Eagle loyalty, but the Eagles got a lot of problems. I have them at Greg just for you. I don't know if this will be in focus. And I still have to post these picks, but I've got the Eagles at 4-13. Oh, that's got autofocus. That helps. Woo! Not a good year for the Eagles. Sorry, Greg, but I've been there, and the Eagles will be back. They often are.
Let's get back to the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Find Chris and Salty on Twitter at Chris Duel and at Shannon B. Sweeney.
Welcome back and happy football Christmas morning to you and yours. Hopefully you're just taking the day off, or if not today, hopefully you take tomorrow off, as tonight we have just a football bliss fest. 7:20 tonight, kickoff, Dallas Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Shannon Salty Sweeney predicting through her NFL prophecy for the entire season that what you are witnessing tonight in Tampa will be a preview of the NFC Championship game. To me, Shannon, that is the coolest part of all of your predictions for me. I mean, I'd love to see Buffalo win the Super Bowl. That's a city and a franchise that is long suffering and long deserving. And your buddy and friend of the show, Mitch Morse, get the ring and hold up the trophy would be way, way, way cool. Mm-hmm. But if these Cowboys get to the NFC Championship game this year, and if it's against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that would be crazy.
Yeah. I know it's a big ask. Believe me.
Woo!
I'm not running from my delusionalness.
No, but and as you said, you got to speak it into existence. And I think that might be what you have done. I'm going to tell you real quick before the Salty Shakedown, sports birthdays and sports history coming up at the top of the hour. We love talking football with this guy. I mean, he's been hanging with the greatest of the greats. If you look at his Facebook page, it's like tens of thousands seemingly photos of James Allen with those great Hall of Famers at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. He's a board member, friend of the show, just a great guy to talk football with. James Allen going to join us just after 8 o'clock, and just after 8:30, Andy Everett, the voice of UTSA Athletics, his thoughts on the undefeated UTSA Roadrunners. Can they go 2-0 this weekend as they have their home opener in the Alamo Dome against Lamar? But lots of controversy and lots of upset UTSA alums and fans over its policy to do away with the come and take it flag and the come and take it battle cry that had become a tradition of sorts at UTSA. It'd be very interesting to get Andy Everett's take on that whole controversy, and we will coming up. But not before Shannon's Salty Shakedown, sports birthdays, and this day in sports history. September 9th, 1965. LA Dodgers future Hall of Fame pitcher Sandy Koufax throws his fourth career no-hitter and his first perfect game in the Dodgers 1-0 win over the Chicago Cubs at Dodger Stadium. My God, Vin Scully was almost certainly on the call for that. You're in Dodger Stadium. It's Sandy Koufax, who was a god on the pitcher's mound. Perfect game. No hitter, and it's against the Cubs, who are iconic, I think, in the National League, even though they were lovable losers for so many years. This day, September 9th, 1972, one of the most infamous and awful days in international basketball history and U.S. basketball history, as the Soviet Union beats the United States in Olympic basketball in Munich 51-50. It was the most controversial game ever. The U.S. led 50-49 in the final 3 seconds, and those final 3 seconds were replayed 3 times. The ref said, let's replay those final 3 seconds. And the third and final time they replayed the final 3 seconds, the Soviets beat the United States 51-50. And don't forget that 72 team was the team that Bobby Knight cut young Greggy Popovich out of the Air Force Academy. Greggy, I don't know if he was called Greggy. Greggy Popovich wanted to be on that team, but no. Bobby Knight kept Doug Collins instead. Maybe if you had Pop on that team, Bobby Knight. Pop majored in Soviet studies at the United States Air Force Academy. Pop could have used some of that CIA mojo on the Soviets, and maybe the USA would have won gold. I'm just saying. It's a theory. This day in 1979, the U.S. Open Men's Tennis Championship, John McEnroe wins his first Grand Slam title. He beats fellow American Vidas Gerulaitis 7-5, 6-3, 6-3. John McEnroe was and is very entertaining. I saw him on the Bob Costas panel show that is now on HBO Max, and he's very insightful. I like me some John McEnroe. Like me some Bob Costas as well. There's your sports history. How about some sports birthdays? Born on this day in 1918, Jimmy the Greek. Jimmy the Greek Snyder, handicapper, sportscaster, Las Vegas bookmaker. He was on the NFL Today along with Brent Musburger, Irv Cross, and Phyllis George for many, many years. The NFL Today on CBS just really exploded the whole panel show idea and got us what we have today, such as that great panel that's on Fox. Jimmy the Greek Snyder was born in Steubenville, Ohio. He passed away in 1996. Born on this day in 1949, I was talking about him yesterday with a friend of mine. He's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think he's deserving. Joe Theismann, Washington football team quarterback Joe Theismann. I hated his guts at Notre Dame. I hated his guts playing for Washington. And then on Radio Row at the Super Bowl, when the Packers played the Pittsburgh Steelers, we're doing a live radio show, and over comes Joe Theismann, and we interview Joe Theismann, and he's the nicest guy in the world. He goes, "Oh, Chris, you're from San Antonio? I love San Antonio. A good friend of mine, Red McCombs, is from San Antonio. Do you know Red? Yeah, I love." The interview ended, and I said, "Joe, I just have to tell you, until just now, I hated your guts. For 20 years, I hated you when you played the Cowboys, but you're the night." So I flipped, just like Tom Brady. I flipped on Joe Theismann. Put him in the Hall of Fame, James Allen. Finally, born on this day in 1960, longtime college football coach and a guy I kind of hate too, Bob Stoops. Today is Bob Stoops' birthday, and breaking news, it's 7:45 a.m. and OU still sucks. Those are your sports birthdays. That's your sports history. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on a football Christmas morning, think about it. Tonight, you get Cowboys, Buccaneers, and right now, you get Shannon's Salty Shakedown.
We're going to start in the college football world with the one and only Coach Sanders, as he prefers to be called.
Don't call him Deion.
Not Deion, not Primetime,
No.
Not Mr. Sanders, Coach Sanders. Well, Coach Sanders, of course, is a head coach now for an HBCU, and he is now advocating for players across all HBCU universities and teams to have their names on the back of their jerseys. Now, I find this interesting because, I think of like Penn State and Notre Dame, who are big-time programs who have never traditionally had their names on the back of jerseys.
USC, throw USC in there.
As someone who needs those names to identify people, because I their helmets, they cover their faces. It makes it harder for me. I don't memorize numbers as easily as it is to just breed a name on the back of the jersey. I'm for it. I'm with it. And I think he made a great point. In the NIL era, where these kids are looking to make endorsements and have those opportunities, it would behoove them probably to have the name of their last name on the back of their jersey. It would help identify them for people like me who aren't familiar with them on a regular basis because they're not my main team. And it would help sponsors because they would know that people could then identify whoever it is they're tied to financially, right? And to, get that recognition for both parties. He also mentioned, parents would love to see their kids with their name on the back of their jersey, right? A lot of kids dream of that, right? That's a big perk of going from high school to college or from college to the NFL, is that my name is going to be on the back. This is mine. I made it. I'm a part of this team. My name is on the back of this jersey. So I understand that some schools have that tradition and they will stick with it. I'm not going to knock that. But for the case here, he's argued, that he understands a lot of it has come down to money for these HBCUs, right? They're typically underfunded, especially compared to schools in the Power Five. And he says, listen, I've done the math. I've done the research. It'll cost about $5 a jersey to get kids' names on the jersey. He said he is willing to pay for it.
Wow.
If it is approved for these kids to have their names on the back of their jerseys. So, Chris, are you with it? Are you cool with this?
When you first started this story, and again, I mentioned USC, the names are not on back of the jersey. I kind of like it because it kind of says this is about the team and not the individual. So I was going to disagree with you on this until you brought up and explained why name, image, and likeness is a big deal, and it could make some money for these kids. And then you further explained, and I have to agree with you, it's a dream. Some of these kids will never play pro football. It is kind of a dream, and you are representing your family name. And I would imagine that parents of and little brothers and sisters of those players will be inspired and moved and touched to see the name on the back of the jersey. So in the middle of your telling the story, I totally flipped. I was going to say, hey man, USC, it's about team, but you got me. So I'm with you on this.
So what you're saying is I'm an influencer.
You're an influencer. You just influenced me. Flipped me.
I like the idea. And I also like that Dion has said, not only do I want this to happen, but I will financially make it happen.
Nice.
If you allow it to. So we'll keep an eye on that. And who knows, maybe those names will be popping up on the back of jerseys soon. All right. Chris, you kind of let this die on me. And I think that's because you're a little upset that the Saints won't be playing in San Antonio for the season opener. Of course, they left New Orleans due to the hurricane, and they had to find a new place to play against the Packers to open the season. And we now know that they will be playing in Jacksonville. But what I wanted to go over with you is why. Why Jacksonville? Of all the places, why they chose Jacksonville? Why not try and stay in Texas? I mean, that's where they've been practicing. Why not do something a little closer to that location? And it's because the Saints did their research, sir. It's the Saints versus the Packers. And the Saints found that Aaron Rodgers is 3-4 when playing in Florida with a QB rating of 78.1. So they have that. So they said, all right, Florida's the state. That's where we're going. Then you've got to figure out the city, right? Because there are 3 professional teams in Florida. So there are 3 stadiums to choose from. Well, they said, listen, we can't go to the Tampa Bay because they are a division rival. And we don't want Bucs fans because they've got a game, obviously, on Thursday. They are perfectly capable of showing up on Sunday and booing the crap out of their division rivals. So we don't want to go there. And then you think, all right, well, what about Miami? Everyone loves Miami. Well, that's the problem. People love to go to Miami. They do not want to cordially invite Packers fans to come to a destination city like Miami, and maybe a little bit of a slap in the face to Jacksonville to say you're not a destination city. But they didn't want to encourage Packers fans to make the trek down to Miami. So they went with Jacksonville, believing that, they won't get as many pack in the building, and so maybe there'll be more Saints fans. And they also believe that the humidity will play a big role. Obviously it's humid throughout Florida, but I guess it's a little bit more humid in Jacksonville. That'll play into the Saints' hands as they are from the New Orleans area, and they practice in it most of the time, even though their games are inside, so that doesn't really matter. But I just thought this was interesting that they did this much research, that there was this much thought and effort. I mean, why wouldn't there be, for one? But they're doing everything they can. And just so you know, as of right now, the Packers playing the Saints in Jacksonville, favored by 4.
Which I still, I've got the Packers at 13-4 and winning the Super Bowl in my picks. So again, I won't belabor it, but it should have been San Antonio. I know there's now San Antonio packed the place for 3 Saints regular season games after Katrina in 2005, and you could have had a lot of Saints fans come here. But the NFL made a rule, so probably a good call. That will be an interesting. That's one of tonight's the game of the week as far as I'm concerned because of Cowboys. But I hope to get a long look at Saints Packers in Jacksonville on Sunday. That'll be a fun game.
Finally, Chris, I wanted to make you smile. I mean, I know you don't really need another reason to smile as it is the start of the
Christmas
NFL
morning,
season. But Drake released an album last week, and on it features a song titled Way Too Sexy. There's a music video that goes along with it. We are listening to it right now, the clean version. Don't you worry. And in the video is one Kawhi Leonard. As we know, he played for the Raptors and won a championship. And Drake, as big of a sports fan as he is for any team that's currently winning anything, he is from Canada. And so he's a big Raptors kind of guy. He's got Kawhi in the video wearing all white, standing in sand and dancing like boy band hand waving style moves to this song that you are hearing now, Way Too Sexy. It's super awkward. People have made memes about it already. If you just Twitter search Kawhi, they're fantastic. Anything he does turns into a meme. Chris, have you seen the video? Have you seen the dancing? And do you like the song?
Now, I've seen the video and the dancing because you directed me to it. I don't like Kawhi. You know that. He was a traitor to my Spurs, to my fan base, to my city. I wish him nothing but ill. When it comes to the NBA, I don't wish him any physical harm. That would be just wrong. I'm trying to be a good guy on that level. But now the song was fun. I enjoyed.
Okay.
I dug the song and the whole video. Very campy, very funny, very creative. Other than Kawhi, and you still, if you don't hate Kawhi like I hate Kawhi, then you would probably laugh at Kawhi in the video and be entertained.
But you gotta love that people are kind of jabbing at him a little bit,
oh,
right?
Thank you.
Yes, super awkward and not a guy that you would typically put into a music video.
Jab away, yes, please.
There it is. Today's Salty Shakedown.
Outstanding Salty Shakedown, and again, the part of your shakedown, the names on the back of the HBCU jerseys is now a good idea. And you explained to me why it was. And I would have said, no. It's about team. It's not about me. But name, image, and likeness and family honor and name. That's pretty cool.
There is no I in team, but there is a me.
Woo. There you go. Coming up, it's football Christmas morning as we get ready for Cowboys Bucks. Let's talk football with James Allen of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And then at 8:30, Andy Everett of UTSA. Chris Duel Show.
Hey, Chris. Are we supposed to or not supposed to pimp any games on WOAI?
See, because of Austin, I mean, I'm not positive, but it is a 50,000 watt signal.
It's in a Cowboys game tonight.
Especially at night. Okay.
And I don't know if it's okay to say that or not. Or
yeah, the thought crossed my mind, and I was going to ask Brian, but since I didn't get a chance to see him this morning, I've just not been saying it. But but I have before, and I mean, he had me do this even on 1300 when we used to do a pregame show, is mention the game is on 12. So I've done that before in Austin when it was a Longhorns broadcast that was carried on OAI.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's fine too. And
because it's 6:30 tonight.
Okay.
On OAI.
Okay, I will. I'll do it, and if I see him in the hallway, I'll double check with him as well.
Because then we can, find out because I think game time on Friday for Longhorns or on Saturday is 5 on WAI.
Okay.
We could fit that too.
That's a little loud.
James is ready.
Thank you. Oh, I gotta. Tracy Bogert, Cowboys 35, Bucks 34. I like it, Tracy.
They have a house of paint for James too.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, Tracy, but man, with Zach Martin out of the lineup tonight, you know, they needed that offensive line to be really at peak performance, I think. I think the Zach Martin thing is going to really hurt him. I hope I'm wrong.
Now, Chris Duel.
It is football Christmas morning. It is the day we have been waiting for months. Thursday, September 9th, 2021. Wake up the kiddies. Gather them around the football Christmas tree. Bust out the eggnog. Get some chips and salsa and tacos, and let's just start tailgating right now. Let us. The game doesn't kick off until 7:20. Let's party right now. The tailgates, wherever you want to tailgate, in your house, by your pool, sports bar, James Allen's house, wherever you want to do it. Now is the time. Let us bask in the glory and celebration of NFL regular season football. It is the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney, and our next guest knows a thing or two about pro football because he is on the board of the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. In fact, the James Allen Gold Jacket Lounge, named for he and his family. I was in there a number of times in August. From the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Texas' very own James Allen. How are you doing this morning?
Well, good morning. Fight on to you and good morning to Shannon.
Very big of you as an Aggie, Mr. Giggum, to come in here and offer an olive branch Yeah, see, I don't have an issue with A&M, but Shannon kind of does. Shannon, do you buy the kindness of James Allen walking in the gate?
I mean, I just wish he would jab with me a little more. It takes the fun out of it when he's being nice.
Next time, I promise I'll jab with you.
Yeah. I mean, he needs the horns this weekend, right? Because we are playing an SEC team, and Texas isn't in the SEC yet. So it would help the Aggies if the Horns got a win this weekend against Arkansas.
Hey, man, like I said, it's the Texas team I'm always going to root for, especially against Oklahoma and Arkansas. Ugh, brings back memories. But, yes, go Horns.
Well, and James, I got to give you props for your Texas Aggies. You know, the rankings came out this week, and in both polls, in both the AP Top 25 and in the coaches poll, your Aggies are knocking on the door of the college football playoff at the number 5 slot. You know, top 4, no surprise, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma. But the Aggies, who last year, James, came so close to fighting their way into the college football playoff, how confident are you that this might be the year you guys go to the playoff?
It's going to be tough. I mean, I'm not trying to be disingenuous, but Ohio State and Oklahoma's schedule are not that intense. I mean, as UT is going to find out when, you have to play Alabama, then Auburn, and all these big, huge schools. It's not only no day off, there's just a lot of the injuries and hurts and everything else. So it's a pretty tough road come out of the SEC just because of the injuries and the schedule. And it's a little disingenuous. I think that, some of the other schools like Ohio State, Oklahoma are great teams, but they come in and they're always better rested at the end of the year. So it's going to be a tough road to get to the SEC.
Since we've last talked, James, A&M has extended Mr. Jimbo Fisher, as well has bumped his pay to $9 million a year. Your thoughts on that, and if he's the man to take the Aggies to the promised land since 1938, I might add.
Thank you. He's definitely. I mean, his resume speaks for itself. They brought him in. They got rid of, unfortunately, a guy that recruited Manziel and Mike Evans and San Antonio's own Spencer Neely. And that's a long story. And then they brought in a coach who really had no business in the SEC. So, they decided to do somebody with a pedigree. He is the guy. $9 million a year is really not that big a deal considering the amount of money that program brings in for the university. It's all there. And yes, his resume is way before A&M. It speaks for itself.
Yeah, and James, I know this is blasphemy among Longhorn fans and, in Austin. But I would, if it can't be the Longhorns, I'm obviously more of a Longhorns fan than an Aggie fan. But I mean, as Shannon mentioned, it's been since the late 1930s since the Aggies have won a national championship. And with Texas moving into the SEC, I'd love to see the Aggies on a year Texas doesn't, like this year maybe. I'd be fine with this year if Sark can't get a national championship in year one. I think it'd be very, very cool for the Aggies. I mean, I've got so many Aggie friends like you. I think you in your lifetime, you've not, as an alum and as a guy who played at Texas A&M, you've not experienced a national championship. And, as a USC guy, it wasn't that long ago. I know the feeling. Shannon knows the feeling. I just think it'd be cool for Aggies everywhere if you guys finally break through. So why not this year? I hope they go do it, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Of course, all roads lead through Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Now, James, I wanted to ask you about this because I got to give the Aggies props for the red, white, and blue that they pulled off this past weekend at Kyle Field, where each section was a different color in honor and in memory of 9/11, now that we are getting close to that 20-year anniversary. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Obviously A&M's a military school. The Corps is one of, believe it or not, produces for a long time through World War II. And Vietnam produced a lot more officers than the other military schools, but it's a top military school when you get beyond the top 3. And a lot of tradition there, obviously, that, and they've been doing that ever since September 11th. And, they have the flyovers with jets or Apache helicopters. And it's something they've been doing since 9/11. And anytime there's anything, you saw what they did for UT or what Evo does. It's a very traditional school when it comes to looking beyond the A&M borders. So it's really cool they do that. traditional lives. Sometimes we forget about stuff like that, right? And 9/11, and I'm very proud that they keep that alive.
He's James Allen, board member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. James, let's shift gears from college football to NFL football. I mean, James, I look at your Facebook page and I saw you in action in Canton. I mean, you hang out with the best of the best, the greatest athletes and coaches and owners in the history of the game of football via the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You've been to many Super Bowls, obviously. Hall of Fame weekend. You've been there for so many marquee events. Super Bowl, Hall of Fame, opening night tonight, James. I think because it's America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, and because it's Tampa Bay with Tom Brady defending Super Bowl champions. I mean, opening night is always exciting and has big ratings. But I think there's something extra special about tonight. How excited are you for tonight's Cowboys-Buccaneers game?
I'm very excited. Just what you said, it's beyond just the opening game. There's always a lot of excitement. But like you said, you have America's team against the Super Bowl champs and Tom Brady. I have to give him a nod ever since he took Tampa Bay from where they were to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's a great matchup. Dak making a comeback, not a really comeback coming off injury. So there's a lot of sex appeal about it. It's going to be tough for the Cowboys. We'll see how their new defense goes. It's going to be tough to run against the Bucs. I mean, they're going to have to pass the ball, but, they've got Gallup and Lamb and a lot of big stories. It's going to be tough for the Cowboys. It's always good to catch a good team at the beginning of a year, even in college. So there's still rust out there, but, it's hard to put a rust on Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Gronk, and Godwin on the receiving corps. But it's going to be, I'm excited about it. It does have something extra.
Now, Chris and I were talking about the audience, right? And that this is going to be not only a huge game because it's the first of the season, but because of these two teams. Is there another game on your radar this weekend, since we will be Cowboy-less come this Sunday?
I'm on the West Coast doing some NFL work in LA, so I don't know how much TV I'm going to get around to. But so really not doing a lot of that. I've really been finished up with the Hall of Fame stuff. We just selected our finalists for next year and just finishing that up. So I really don't. I'm going to watch the Bucs game and the Cowboys, but really nothing else is on my radar at this time.
What now? Wait a minute, James. You just broke some news. Are you in LA right now? Are you on the West Coast right now?
Right. Yeah.
Oh my.
Lack of sleep right now, but I know you get up at 3 a.m, so I'm not going to.
Oh my. See, James, I figured you were in Texas. It's 6:15 in the morning right now. Wait. In LA. I can't believe we made you get up this early. That's insane, man. I apologize.
Is Jerry with him? Because we know Jerry wants to go out west.
No, Jerry's not with me.
Ah!
Did you, James, did you catch any Hard Knocks on HBO, Dallas Cowboys on Hard Knocks? Did you catch any of that this season?
No, I did not.
Man.
Like I said, we were kind of huddled up. We just picked Cliff Branch and Dick Reveal for the finalists.
Wow.
For the for the people who've been out for 25 years.
Yeah.
You got him, right?
Yes.
We picked Cliff, and then we also picked Art McNally. Art McNally refed 50 years in NFL, and he's the one that brought not only training of videos to the NFL, the bang bang of video techniques, but he's actually the guy in 1986 with the commissioner brought in instant replay. So we just put Art McNally as the finalist, the contributor, and put Cliff Branch and Dick Reveal in. So we've been kind of huddled up with all that.
Oh, wow, that is huge. All right, I got to bring this up to you, James, because I do a thing earlier in the show. I do sports birthdays, and today is the birthday of one Joe Theismann, longtime Washington quarterback. I told the story. I used to hate his guts when he played for Washington, and then I met him and I interviewed him on the radio, and he was like one of the nicest guys I ever met. But you look at his body of work. He has a Super Bowl championship, and part of Hall of Fame is fame. Did you move the needle? Were you a big deal when you played in the National Football League? And I would argue that Joe Theismann was. From your perspective, do you think Joe Theismann somewhere down the line can get what Dick Vermeil and Cliff Branch has gotten, and that's a shot to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
I have to pull up his stats, and I'm not going to do that on the fly. And I love Joe in person. You're right. I hated him with the Redskins. I think it's a shame what happened. Lawrence Taylor, Hall of Famer, came around and pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
not intentionally, of course. And LT was the first one to try to get help. I really think if he continued to play that level of play, I think he would definitely be in there. I mean, obviously that's why we created the senior division to look back at some of those people. I just don't know if his body of work is quite there, but it's definitely in the. But without looking at his stats, I think it's in the. I haven't heard his name in the final, let's say 30, especially in 2020, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Those people. So I just don't think the body of work is there. In fact, I think I have my real quick look for the committees, people we try to put in. Now, see, he hasn't even made, to give you an example, in 2020, we had about 15 people, or almost 20 people that went in, including Tommy Novus, and yes, I nominated him.
Good man.
Thank you. And even Drew Pearson didn't make it last year. But, I don't see his list on the senior stains, even the top 20 right now, that they made it that far.
James, yesterday we saw some baseball greats go into Cooperstown. So I'm just curious, as a guy who is so closely linked, obviously, to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, if there's anything that you see that the Cooperstown does that maybe the NFL might think, oh, maybe we should maybe steal that or implement this, or have you already?
We actually coordinate with each other, and not to be disingenuous to the NBA and Major League Baseball, but actually they've been trying to emulate us. They've toured the hall. They're trying to change their culture, and without going into a long dissertation, specifically, they want to, for example, when we come back, and you saw this, Chris, when you went there, there will be 120 or 30. I mean, every Hall of Famer from 90 to new ones shows up at Canton to root on the new guys. Whereas baseball and NBA, unless they played with the guy and he invites them, Hall of Famers don't show up for each other. And so they're really trying to change that culture from the inside and actually modernize and raise more money for their programs. So actually, not because I'm on the board, but the Pro Football Hall of Fame, who's won Top Museum and all kind of other awards, has actually been other museums, specifically in sports, been really way ahead of that. And they're trying to catch up and try to change their stuff. So, but we do watch everything they do. They watch us. But the one thing that they're really focused on, and I agree with that, is how do you get the former Major League Baseball Hall of Famers and basketball things come and support their new class, create kind of a cohesive group.
Yeah, it's amazing. As Shannon mentions, James, I didn't even we do a sports talk radio show and we talk baseball on this show. And I'm a big Houston Astros fan and I'm a big fan of baseball. And we talked a lot about the Field of Dreams game earlier this season, last month. But I didn't even know. Yesterday, I heard on the news, like, oh, the inductions in Cooperstown for the Baseball Hall of Fame are today. I didn't even know it. And it's like, and as a football fan, there's always, for Canton, Ohio, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you know when it's going to be. You see it on the calendar. It is, it's brilliant that you guys start the football season there. I think baseball needs to find a way to you did it on September 8th. Really? I mean, they need to either do it like right at the beginning of the season or maybe do it during World Series week or something. I totally agree. I mean, especially, and I knew this before I went to Canton with you in August, James, but the Pro Football Hall of Fame, just everything about it, the ceremony, the inductions, and the relatively new David Baker knocking on the door, which is spectacular. And I continue to tell people, James, when I went into the room with the busts, and I was, I've seen them all my life as a kid on TV, but when you go into the room and you see the busts of those faces at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I mean, I got like right eye level with Tom Landry, my favorite coach ever. And I mean, it's so lifelike, and the lighting in that room, I think about, Cooperstown, they got the little plaques, which are, they're nice, but there's something about the busts at the Pro Football Hall of Fame that are so unique, that are so quintessentially NFL, and are when you see them in person, they're like surreal and they're magical. I just think so much of what you guys do at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you guys are like, state of the art. The other Hall of Fames need to really look at what you do.
Well, without going to thank you, there's a guy named George Ferris. We have our own studios. We have our own production company. And he helped bring a lot of that to the modern front. George Ferris happened to be the guy that, had Phyllis George, Irv Cross, Jimmy the Greek, and produced that show and came up with it.
Wow.
And George has really helped that out. And Major League Baseball, we've told them that you need to put your brand where everybody's watching, because nobody knows when when your players come in, and that's just they're, like I said, I'm not being disingenuous. They're just really behind on trying to market it, but we just happen to have, we're very blessed to have a lot of people behind the scenes that work with the media way ahead of time. And like when you tune into Hall of Fame, you'll see a bunch of Hall of Famers on radio or TV and stuff like that. So it has something for everyone. But to their defense, they're working with us and trying to get ideas and trying to implement some stuff.
Yeah, because I want to fall in love with it. I mean, like the Field of Dreams game. I think baseball really was onto something with the Field of Dreams game. Ratings were through the roof. It was great fun. It was moving. Hopefully they can use some of that energy and some of the ideas from you guys at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is James Allen. James, finally, and again, I apologize. When I texted you yesterday and said, hey, you want to come on the show? I had no idea you were in Los Angeles. I would have said, dude, if you're in LA, you want to sleep. I get it. But you, as always, you answered the call and you said, yep, I will be there. I just got to ask you, though, you're in Los Angeles. You're James Allen. You're kind of a big deal. Doing anything, going to Spago? Are you hanging out with Drake and Kawhi? Doing anything exciting in LA? Anything entertainment-wise?
I've been invited to a lot of fancy restaurants. I'm out there watching and being an ambassador towards, you have to go to practices for the Chargers and the Rams. And so I get to meet a lot of people behind the scenes, the players, and what they're doing, what they're thinking about. Obviously, you can't talk about repeat or they kind of watch your phones, but it's just really cool to be on the ground level. As you know, there's a lot of expectations at the beginning and a lot of adjustments and talking about matchups. They even think the whole series out, season out, and plan for injuries. So I have a chance to do a lot of the entertainment stuff. However, I've just kind of held off on that and really spent a lot of time in the video room and watching and just being kind of a student of the game.
Very cool. Well, James, again, we'll have to get you a medal of some kind for getting up so darn early on the West Coast this morning to join us in the Central Time Zone. James Allen, board member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. James, always love talking football with you, man. Have yourself a great football weekend. I hope you get a nap later today.
I will, and I love you guys so much, Shannon and Chris. It's my pleasure to get up about that. You guys do such a great job, and for you, Shannon, I'm going to say Giggle Maggies, and you guys and I'll be pulling for the Cowboys, and you guys have a great weekend.
Very cool. And a shout out, James. I know you often do it, and I got to meet your parents and your family. A shout out to your parents and family. Thank you so much. James Allen from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. As we roll forward, Andy Everett, I want to talk to him about the undefeated UTSA Roadrunners. And I also want to get his take on the come and take it controversy. What does he expect to see in the stands at the Alamo Dome on Saturday night? That and a whole lot more. She is Shannon Salty Sweeney, Dave Ayler making the show go. We're with you till 9 on the Chris Duel Show. Yeah, Chris Gonzalez, Major League Baseball. I didn't even know yesterday. I mean, I kind of read on some websites a week ago that it was coming, but it wasn't top of mind. It wasn't on my radar. I heard about it after the fact, and I saw people tweeting. And I saw some comments from Derek Jeter. All right. I got to check something here. This is September. Yeah, this is the same copy, I think.
are here, bringing lasting relief from joint pain with no downtime, no surgery, no steroids.
Okay, that's Fall Is Here. This one's live.
Recommended joint pain treatments, steroids.
Okay. Yeah, the Theismann injury was gruesome. I saw John. I saw you commenting on that. I don't know, Robert. Blue jersey jinx. I do appreciate that you have a Roger Staubach jersey, but a blue, and it's a good looking jersey. I've seen those, but I cannot, because of my knowledge of the blue jersey jinx, I cannot bring myself to wear a blue jersey. Let's see. I got to send a text to James Allen. I feel so bad. I wish he would have just said, hey, man, I'm in LA. Let's do it next week or the week after. And I still have to post my NFL prophecy, and then we need to post it, do a screenshot and put it alongside Shannon's, which she sent me hers. Let me see here. Thank you, sir. Beautiful. I guess I'll wait on that. Take a quick look. Nothing new in the world of sports. Occasionally something breaks in the 8 o'clock hour. Sometimes at 8:30. So we try to check the multiple sports websites at this time. Frank Ramirez, good morning. Bob Fuentes, good morning. It is game day. Rob Fuentes, sorry, Rob. Dean Stone, Robert Almarez. Foam foot cut out of here early. Chris Gonzalez, John Williams. Tracy Bogert, he's got his Facebook identity back. Tracy gets banned more from Facebook than Steve Howe was banned from baseball. Jacob Yadi Sauceda, welcome in. Jesse Martinez. If I'm missing anybody, Lucinda Sullivan a long time ago with the coffee emoji. If I'm missing anybody, good morning to you. Here we come. Andy Everett shall join us. There we go. Dave Ayler playing a little ABBA.
To the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney.
That's right. We may be the only sports talk show in America that plays ABBA, but we also tell you that ABBA's got a new album coming out. I'm not making that up. You can Google it. And Andy Everett likes ABBA, so we play either ABBA or Katy Perry when he comes on board. He likes Katy as well. It's the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney on the phone line, the voice of the undefeated UTSA Roadrunners. Birds up. Thank you, Coach Traylor. He is the one and only Andy Everett. Andy, how you doing this morning?
Very well. How are you guys?
We are doing well, and I want to start with the elephant in the room. You know, we spoke with you on Tuesday about the big win over Illinois, and you had a great call. And, man, in the last 48 hours, this controversy, this come and take it thing, I mean, not just sports talk, Charlie Parker down the hall and Tim Merriman talking about it, news talk, it's all over television. It's a big deal to catch everybody up. For a long time, fans at the game had a big flag that said "Come and take it." It wasn't the same flag used in the fight for Texas independence with the cannon. It was in UTSA colors with a Roadrunner logo. The president and the university have decided, after some people protested, because that flag and that phrase has been co-opted by some groups that are, less than mainstream or less than, kind all the time. They decided, hey, we're not, even though that was kind of a tradition, we're not going to go with that anymore. We're not going to raise those flags or those banners. Andy, as the voice of UTSA athletics, I'm sure a lot of people have been asking you about it in the last 48 hours. So we got to ask you about it. What's your take on it, and what do you expect from fans at the football game on Saturday night?
I think that there's a lot of people that are very upset about it, and others probably don't really care a whole lot. The come and take it thing with the flag started in 2016 when Frank Wilson started coaching there. He liked the idea of unveiling it to start the fourth quarter.
And it started back in 2011 when TSA first started playing football. We even had contests on the radio station several years ago to encourage people to see who could win, and we give away winners on the air for them to run the come and take a flag out with the flag corps when the team was being introduced as the game got ready to start. And I don't know if it's been around long enough for it to be a tradition at UTSA football games, but I do think it's a tradition throughout the state of Texas. You'll see it, I'm sure, at tailgating, not only at UTSA games, but at Texas A&M games, at Texas games, and things of that nature. I know from the football team standpoint, they don't care. They're focused on Lamar. They're focused on Middle Tennessee next week. They're focused on winning games. And we didn't even bring it up last night with Jeff Traylor. They're not thinking about it, and they're not worried about it. And whatever traditions that we come up with in the future, hopefully will be something that everybody can embrace and wrap their arm around. But the football team is concentrated on winning football games. And I hope fans that we're considering going don't not go because of this. You can still have it at the tailgate. I don't think they're telling you have to take it down. And so we just won't have the deal at the end of the third quarter. And I also kind of think it's kind of interesting that all of this is happening now, but we're now much more in the cancel culture than we were 10 years ago when it first happened. And it's been going on at UTSA and other places for a long time, and all of a sudden it's become an issue.
That's great to hear that, you said you didn't bring it up with Jeff Traylor. They're focused on the game and task at hand, which means it's not as big of a distraction as some may play it out to be, right? Because whenever kind of non-football related things coincide with the season, that becomes the narrative, right? Oh, it's just a distraction. It's a distraction. They're not going to be focused. If they win or lose, that'll be a reason why. So it's good to hear that team is focusing on the task at hand. So take us there. Take us to this weekend against this game against Lamar. What do you think that UTSA will improve upon from what we saw last week against Illinois? And do you think they'll be 2-0 by Monday?
Well, the one thing I am amazed about being around athletes now, even more so than I was 20 or 30 or 40 years ago when I first started broadcasting games, is that they don't even think about wins and losses. They don't think about results as far as scores are concerned. I've seen this with golfers. What are you going to shoot today? I don't know. Hopefully I birdie every hole. And that's their mindset. I want to execute every play perfectly. I had a coach one time tell me every play in our playbook is designed that if we execute it perfectly, we're going to score a touchdown on it. We may not execute it perfectly, but that's the idea. And so the athletes, I don't think they get distracted by much. Their focus, their lives are so busy and they're so in tuned into what they're doing. They're thinking about the next play, not 3 plays from now or 10 plays from now, or what the score is going to be at halftime or at the end of the game. I think the one thing from a UTSA standpoint that they want to improve on is Jeff Traylor identified at least 5 plays in the game defensively where he thinks they should have had a turnover, either an interception or a fumble recovery, and they didn't get it. They still beat Illinois without turning them over in the game the other night. So the defense is working really hard this week on getting turnovers. I think the other thing, too, is that it's human nature to play at your highest peak emotionally against Illinois and not play at your highest peak emotionally against Lamar, because they are an FCS school. They're in Southland Conference. They're in a division that's a couple of notches below you. But they did win against an NAI school the other day, 47-3. So they've got athletes and they can play, and they'd like nothing better to come in here and win. I think UTSA will win the game, and I think they will win it by a pretty big margin. But every time you start thinking about that, if the players, for 1 second, aren't concentrating play by play, series by series, etc., that's when a team like the Lamar can shock you and kind of ruin your whole season.
Looking back now, Andy, and you and I and Shannon have talked a lot, and certainly ever since that magazine, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine picked UTSA to go 10-2. That of all the picks in that magazine, that's a thick magazine. That one just jumped out at me, and I thought, my goodness, if this happened, how huge would that be? Now that and you were there for the call of the game in Champaign, Illinois. We still didn't know going into that game. It's like, wow, can this UTSA team be that good? And then we watched Illinois in week 0 beat Nebraska on that same field, and we thought, all right, this is going to be a heck of a test for UTSA. Now that you've seen it, and now that we have a better indication that yes, this Jeff Traylor coached edition of the UTSA Roadrunners can live up to expectations. How do you feel now for this season? What do you expect the rest of the way from this Roadrunner team, and what do you think is possible now that we know that they can play a really high brand of football?
Well, I don't think there's any game that they can't win, and that doesn't mean I'm saying they're going to go 12-0 and win the conference championship game and play in a New Year's Six bowl game. Likely they won't. But I think every game on the schedule is certainly winnable. And I don't think there's any team out there that is light years better than them. They're not even playing a Brigham Young team like they did last year. I think having UAB at home in November is key and critical. But it's really, really hard for any team to go through its entire conference season and win every game, because those games are so important and everybody gets so focused. And the more you win, the other team gets even more focused for you. And I think that's what makes Alabama so special, is that year in and year out at Clemson, they usually win all their conference games. Even in the Big 12, Oklahoma's won the Big 12 championship, 8 years in a row or whatever it is, but they haven't won every game every year in conference play. So there's always a hiccup along the way somewhere. And the key for this team is to stay focused on each game that it plays, and it can be very special. I think 12 wins is a possibility, 10 wins is a possibility, but 5 wins is also a possibility if the wrong players get hurt. While I think if everybody stays healthy and this team continues to mature as it has, and it's got a whole bunch of seniors on it, I think it's 47 seniors or something like that on this roster, there's no reason why this can't be the most successful year ever, and really make San Antonio proud of its team.
Andy, I've got to ask you this while we have you. Captain Steve Stryker of the Ryder Cup announced his 6 picks yesterday. Daniel Berger, Harris English, Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, and Jordan Spieth. 2 Longhorns on there, by the way. Just wanted to ask if you thought there were maybe any snubs out there that you thought should have been one of those 6.
I did not. I was kind of hoping Kevin Na would make it. I think Kevin's a really good putter and chipper, and I think you need that in Ryder Cup. But Whistling Straits is a really long golf course, and he's one of the shorter hitters on tour. But I don't think he was snubbed. And he finished 16th in the Ryder Cup standings, so he didn't actually get left off of a team. He was way down. It would have been kind of a reach for Steve Stricker to pick him. I thought Patrick Reed would have been on the team had he not gotten pneumonia. I think that's one of the things that they're concerned about is his health. He did play this week at the Tour Championship, did not play great, but I think they're concerned about his health and whether or not he would be able to go, if they needed him to go 36 holes on a day. And the question's going to still be out there for Brooks Koepka. Is he going to be able to play in 3 weeks at Whistling Straits with that wrist injury that forced him to withdraw from the Tour Championship? And so Captain Stricker may have to find an alternate to replace him if he can't, and that could be a Sam Burns or a Kevin Na or even a Patrick Reed if he's feeling better by then. So there may still be one more wild card pick out there, but I thought he pretty much went chalk with everything. The only one that was kept was Patrick Reed, and I don't think he would have been had he not gotten sick a couple of weeks ago.
He is Andy Everett, the voice of UTSA Athletics. He will have the call on Saturday evening, kickoff at 5 o'clock at the Alamo Dome. And we certainly encourage, if you're in South Texas, even Central Texas, you want to see a great football game and a rising football team, go to the game, go to the Alamo Dome, kickoff 5 o'clock on Saturday against Lamar. So, Andy, I'm assuming 5 o'clock kickoff, that means pregame with you and the crew, 3 p.m. on Ticket 760?
Yeah, and we'll be back with our home plan for 2019. We'll do the first hour of the show from outside the North Terrace of the Alamo Dome and the H&D Plaza, and then we'll go back inside for the second hour and get ready for the game.
So tailgating fans can slide you beer in that first hour. Does that happen?
We're not actually in the tailgating area because the tailgating area is on the other side of the railroad tracks.
Ah.
Necessarily Alamo Dome domain, if you will. So there's no electricity unless you bring a generator, and there's no internet unless you bring a hotspot, and neither is what you would call reliable when you're trying to keep a broadcast on the air for an hour. So that's why we're in front of the North Terrace of the dome. So yeah, they're going to have to figure out a way to do that judiciously.
Very cool. Andy Everett, we will be listing 3:00 for the pregame, 5:00 for the kickoff. Ticket $760 in San Antonio. If you're outside San Antonio, you can find that on the iHeart Radio app. Andy Everett, have a great call. We will be listing on Saturday.
See you next week.
All right. Oh, and I forgot to preview, Shannon. You even told me earlier this morning, Andy's going to be in here with you next week.
Yeah. You're headed out on vacation, deservedly so. So Andy and I will be holding it down. I'll be excited to have him join me once again. He's always great to have on board.
Absolutely. So, and I got it. I mean, UTSA, if they don't beat Lamar, Shannon, I mean, yeah, the natives who are already restless over the come and take it controversy, the natives would get really restless. I got a feeling if there's any coach that can whip that team into shape and not let them, lose the high emotionally they had at Illinois, getting that big win against a Big Ten team, Jeff Traylor, I would imagine, will have that team prepared. All right, Shannon, our poll question this morning was very straightforward, very simple about tonight's football game. What have we learned?
Well, before we get to that, I did want to let you know that the line that was 8.5 has dropped to 8.
Ooh.
So people are putting money on the Cowboys this morning. But our poll question, who wins tonight? Pretty plain and simple between the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. The Buccaneers have taken the bigger lead. I thought we were going to go the opposite way, but the Buccaneers now lead with 63% of the vote.
So that means that 37% are believers, Cowboy believers.
Yeah, still in good graces with you and I.
I hope they're right. I hope they're right. And I finally, we were talking, ultimately this will be the Super Bowl, and Shannon in her predictions earlier in the show said it's going to be Cowboys Bucks in the NFC Championship game. Dave Ayler pointing me to a story that Super Bowl ads are already selling out. Prices are going through the roof, and a lot of the advertisers will be cryptocurrency on Super Bowl Sunday. So there you go. Tom Brady hawking cryptocurrency on the internets. We will post our season picks. Shannon's and mine will go up on the internet so you can track, mock, or be in awe of them today, throughout the weekend, and throughout the season. Shannon Salty Sweeney, outstanding work as always. Tomorrow we're going to be very tired. We will either be very happy or maybe a little cranky tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope I'm happy. I really hope I'm happy. Enjoy the game, sir.
Yes, you too. Dave Ayler, enjoy the game, even though you're a Cowboy hater.
Thank you. Bring on Friday. I'm ready for it.
Friday. Our thanks to James Allen, the Pro Hall of Fame, and Everett. Let's celebrate in 21 hours a Cowboys victory. Enjoy football Christmas. See you tomorrow. Woo!